Hello and welcome to another episode of Not Without My Sister, which is exactly the state that we find ourselves. I'm Rosemary McCabe.
And I'm Beatrice McCabe.
My sister.
Her sister.
Did you ever think about changing your name when you got married?
No, I didn't. I don't know.
Seems like a lot of faff, doesn't it?
Maybe it'd been like a super, no offense, Don, but like a super, amazing Italian name or something. I could have considered it. I should have done the double barrel, actually, is what I think.
McCabe Kirkland.
Mm-hmm. Or Kirkland McCabe.
Or McKirkland.
No. Well, we actually discussed that, but no. What about you? You think you're going to keep your name if and when you get married in my back garden next year?
I've never considered changing my name. But like that, if I married somebody with a very cool sounding surname. But then also Rosemary is a really hard name to put with things like Brandon's surname is Wallace.
Oh, yeah.
And Rosemary Wallace definitely sounds like a religion teacher.
Oh, I thought a murderer. Today, in order to not make Rosemary cry, and just to keep the conversation positive, as nostrils flare across the room from me, we're going to talk about hobbies.
You said that like such a simpleton.
Thanks.
We're going to talk about hobbies. Now, kids.
What
hobbies?
Oh my
do
God,
you
I
have?
actually loved... What was that crafts thing on TV years ago? Do you remember? Where
Was it
literally-
Art Attack?
No, it was on like RT, and they'd literally be like, today we're going to do, I think it was like crafts with Anne or something, wasn't it?
I think that was on the Den. I think that was the segment on the Den with the one
And
with the
they'd
blonde
be like,
hair.
today you need these 72 pieces of equipment, and what we're going to do is you're going to glue this to this and this to this, and then they'd literally show, and here it is done. It would be a 5-minute segment, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
what the hell? And I don't think I ever got to make any of them.
It was often toilet rolls or washing up liquid
you're right.
bottles.
They were always
Remember
like,
that?
you need 18 toilet rolls.
You know that there's a rumour that the guy Neil from Art Attack is actually Banksy. Do you remember your man from Art Attack who used to basically... Do you remember this? It was on either ITV or the BBC.
No,
and
we didn't have those channels when I was growing up.
Oh, well, when I was growing up, I did. And he used to do, so he'd do art for the first 20 minutes. And then at the last 10 minutes, he would create like a huge thing, like an aerial thing from T-shirts or something. And he would put them all together. And then from up high, it would look like a giraffe. Or,
I thought,
you know what I mean?
Your man from Massive Attack is supposed to be Banksy. Did I just make that up?
Loads of people are meant to be Banksy, though, aren't they?
Are you Banksy? You're incredibly artistic.
I'd love to be Banksy.
I'd love if you were Banksy too. I'd be like, would you go outside my house and draw all over the walls, please?
I'm not subtle enough. Like, can you imagine? Like,
no, you mean
if
stealthy enough?
Well, like stealthy, but
You'd
also
totally be snared. You're right to be like
I'd absolutely be
caught
snared.
again with my Sharpie outside Spar.
I'd be like, God, I had to go to Spar and get a plaster. I had a blister from all that painting.
You would. The Sharpie was extremely sweaty in my hand.
Do you remember when there was the whole thing, the Bloggers Unveiled account on Instagram? Did you ever hear about this? There was this like anonymous
Pretty sure you told me about
blogger
it.
call out page, and loads of people asked me, was it me? And I was like, do you think I would have been able to keep that quiet?
No, you can't keep a secret at all.
know.
Mom even says to me,
I know.
don't tell your sister she can't keep a secret.
Your birthday present is arriving tomorrow, and I literally just want to drive over and bring it to you.
Oh, you're the
birthday's
same
in
as
another
Don.
3 weeks.
Don's like, I have your Christmas present. This could be in January. I got your Christmas present. I go, great, thanks, great. Can't wait to see it. Would you like to know what it is? No, I don't want to know what it is. Are you sure I'll tell you? I'm like, no, I don't want to know because then I have nothing on my birthday. Absolutely rubbish. Anyway, back to hobbies.
Back to hobbies.
So you don't have any secretive hobbies, certainly. You're not on OnlyFans. That was another secret you wouldn't be able to keep.
That's another whole episode we could talk about, because I have, like, not that I have considered going on OnlyFans.
You have.
No, I haven't.
You have. When you read how much that one made in a month, you were like, I totally would go on that.
Bella Thorne made $1 million in a day.
Yeah, but like she's Bella Thorne. The
I
other one who
know, I'd
wasn't
be so
famous
embarrassed.
said she was making like thousands.
I'd probably make like a $5 in a week, and I'd be mortified.
It'd be like, refund, please.
I know.
I could never do that. I am a prude, as we've already.
You are absolutely a prude, but also you can't even take a selfie, like that you like and would happily send someone. Do you know what I mean?
I don't like any of your selfies either. Just to be clear. Okay,
Fuck you.
So
you
back to hobbies.
Absolute bitch.
So I was thinking about hobbies, all the hobbies I had growing up and all the hobbies you had growing up. And then I was like, what were your hobbies? I think organizing was
I've
your
never
hobbies.
had any hobbies.
You did. You had loads. You were constantly trying to form groups of people. That was your problem. My hobbies, at least, were like solo hobbies, so I didn't have to rely
Maybe
on
that was
anybody
your
else.
problem. You had no mates.
Oh, 1,000,000%. I didn't have to. I also was living up the country.
Was
I had no brothers and sisters. I just want to say that again.
Oh my god!
Until I was 7. Until I was 7.
6.5.
6.5. So I mean, I had nobody to play with. Do you know what I mean? You weren't that useful. No offense. So I drew. I was sent off to. I was thinking of all the things Mom sent me to
Yeah.
very patiently. She sent me to
You went to that art camp in the
art.
forest.
Forgot about that.
Yeah.
That was good, actually. No, I was sent to like weekly art classes in Rathcoole. I was sent to piano. You played the piano. You were good, and they called you a jazz pianist once. And Mom like has never gotten over it.
You know, I got to grade 7 in piano and then gave up.
Yeah. So
Why did I do that? Why didn't I just do my grade 8 and finish? That's the last
what do
grade.
you mean? What difference does it make?
I don't know. It
What
just
difference
seemed
would it make
just
to you
seemed
now?
mad.
How many grades did I do?
Didn't you do 8?
5? No, I didn't do 8.
Did you not?
No, I
Anyway, I'm
didn't.
crap. All I can play now is
Oh, I'm
Coldplay and James
useless.
Blunt.
I can play a couple of bars.
And it's not even James Blunt songs anyone knows. It's literally Goodbye My Lover, the most depressing James
I
Blunt
can play
song.
a couple of bars of what's her name, Nora Jones, but it's very complicated. I'd like to say her piano, and then I can play, as we've already ascertained, drunk. I can play the Beatles badly.
I can play that one. Making my way downtown, walking fast, faces pass, and I'm homebound. Do-do-do-do-do-do-do.
Okay, I'd like you to. Okay, at the end
Vanessa
of this, I
Carlton?
shall bring the microphone out to the piano, and we shall listen to you.
No.
Was
No,
it as
no.
fast as that?
I
Is
need
it,
the-
is it going to be
sorry.
more like? No. Is it going to be more like? Do 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 do.
You're not even doing it in tune.
Yeah, that's my point.
Anyway, I need the sheet music. I don't have it to hand.
Oh, you don't know it off by heart. That's not a
I
real
don't know
pianist.
anything off by heart.
It's not a real pianist. And Mom laughs every time you say the word pianist as well.
I know.
Which is really
You're
grown up of
literally
her.
just saying it over and over again for Mom's
For Mom.
entertainment.
There you go, Mom. You're welcome.
Yeah, but I don't think, like, you had all these hobbies. You were always
Crafting. I was always
You were always
crafting.
creating things and being a real show off.
I wasn't.
Whereas I was trying to organize
Sewing.
people into clubs.
Yeah, you were.
And then I also was obsessed with, I really wanted to join the brownies. And then Mom signed me up for the brownies. And I did, I think, 2 weeks and then came home and was like, Mom, I really like it, but can I just take this week off?
Oh my God, you sound like my children.
Yeah, I used to do that all the time. And like, I literally quit every single thing I started. Except piano, but I did quit that eventually.
I mean, I've actually never not finished a book I've started. Have you?
No, I mean, I'm not sure that I haven't when I was younger, but now that I'm older, I like very determinedly finish every book that I start.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Why?
like that, I'm like, what? But then I recently read Milkman by Anna Burns, which loads of people raved about, and I hated it.
Did you finish it?
Yes, and then afterwards I was like, why did I bother? Like, I wasn't any more satisfied for finishing it. I should have just given it up and read something else.
Well, I haven't actually finished Where the Crawdads Sing, even though we went and did it in book club and I had lots of opinions on it. But I only got to about chapter 7. But I was thinking last night in bed, I was like, I have to finish that.
You got put off by that. Every single time I said Crawdad, I could
Yeah,
see like
you
the
did ruin it
percentage
for
of your
me.
enthusiasm going down and down. And down.
I actually was thinking that. I was like thinking about all the other things. Like when I lived in Milan, I played badminton, met a very attractive man there, ended up fancying him for ages. But
Who ended up fancying him? You ended up fancying
I
him.
ended up fancying him for ages. But I was like thinking about, but I hated going. I did yoga, which I loved, Ashtanga yoga, but I hated the going. It's like, I hate things that are planned and like,
Oh, you do.
it's more, I would love if
But
somebody
you
said,
actually go. Like, I sign up to things all the time. Like I signed up to a boxing class.
I
And
did
then
boxing. I forgot about that.
after 2 sessions...
Kickboxing.
I did kickboxing a couple of times in
I
school.
loved that. I nearly died though, because the fact you have to keep jumping
That's
on
really
your
hard.
toes.
I signed up to boxing
I mean, where else would you be jumping? But
probably
anyway.
only about 4 years ago. And I did 2 sessions. And then I was literally just like, I'm not enjoying this. And I'd paid something like 150 quid. And I was like, I'm not enjoying this. My 150 quid is gone whether I go or not. So I may as well just stay home and watch TV.
You're
Be
literally the
happier.
opposite of that thing we talked about last week, where people throw good money after bad. You're like, well, money's spent. I've already lost it. Just give up. And where everybody else is like, well, I've already spent the money. I better go to every single thing and like, make sure I'm not wasting the money. Whereas like the money's already spent.
Yeah, I actually never understand that when people are like, oh my God, it's such a waste of money to not go. And you're like, the money's gone either way. Like, I may as well
did
just
opera
enjoy
singing.
my nights.
Forgot about that.
Oh yeah.
Did my opera singing with Veronica Dunn.
You're such a show off. I did my opera singing, not with Veronica Dunn. And I asked Mom recently why she didn't send me to Veronica Dunn. She couldn't remember. But
I think you didn't get into the audition.
you were such a bitch. I don't think I ever auditioned for her. You're literally making that up. You were so mean.
It's a joke. Yeah, I'll tell you why you didn't go to her, because you were obsessed. You did not like me, and you were obsessed with our cousin Abigail, and she was going to a different singing teacher, and you wanted to go to her singing teacher because God forbid you would actually ever want to do anything that I was doing. And I was so hurt. I was so hurt.
You didn't give a shit. And can I also
I was hurt.
Can I also point out, if anybody has listened to like any number of these episodes, they'll understand that when I was a bit younger and slightly more touchy, I know it's hard to believe, I didn't take all of your slagging that well. So maybe I hated you for a reason, because you were mean to me.
I don't think I was mean to you.
Oh my God, she's over there taking notes like my therapist. I'm like, what are you writing down now?
I'm not. I'm writing down things to remember what I'm talking about, to keep on track, to keep on topic. We got some feedback that potentially our meandering was a little bit out of control. So I'm trying to keep us on topic.
Where did we get that feedback from?
It's secret, Kevin. And as an American listener, I was like, well, I suppose we should cater to both sides of the pond.
Well, when he has a 5-star podcast, he can happily give us advice.
Oh my God. Now people are going to go on and give us 1 star just to give you to give you what for. Okay. So I would say right now, so today, Rosemary, nowadays, what are your hobbies? Apart from school? I mean, maybe living vicariously through other people on Instagram. I mean, I was thinking right now with all of these pandemic trends, like these pandemic hobbies that are resurfacing, people are doing all kinds of dolls' houses is a massive trend now, right? And your friend, Colleen Elizabeth's website, for example. Yeah.
I actually bought one of her paint by number kits, but I haven't started it yet. So that's a hobby that I could potentially have.
Yeah, I also bought a couple of needle punch kits after that. Amazing. I mean, it's an Instagram account that only has about, I don't know, maybe 20 posts. It's this woman who started doing needle punch, which is kind of similar to
cross stitch, isn't it?
Rug hooking,
no, you're right. Yeah.
Is that the expression? Rug hooking, lumra kind of thing?
Yeah.
Except it's, well, I don't know. I mean, I bought multiple books and I've bought all the sets and I've bought muslin cloth, etc. And I bought you a set too. Haven't done anything yet. So I was like, maybe if I talk about it now, I'll have to actually do it to show it. But it looks beautiful. I think her Instagram is So All We Cope or something like that. I'll look it up later. I think that's right. So All We Cope. And it's like she talks about how she does it for therapy. And I thought it was interesting when I started kind of thinking about crafts again, and the fact I was thinking about like how people have started crafting again this year. You know, and I think it's, you know, even how we started this podcast was over a jigsaw, which is not us making a craft, but there's a therapeutic aspect to doing these things. Like there's a mindlessness instead of sitting down and scrolling on your phone. Like there's a kind of a rhythmic restfulness maybe. You know, you get into kind of that Zen space where you're not thinking about anything, but the repetition itself is very calming. And I was looking up crafting and, you know, the benefits to you. And the Crafts Council UK, literally their homepage talks about all of the mindful benefits to crafting. So I was like, so it was really that was what encouraged me then. Well, that's what tipped me over the edge to actually purchasing all those things that I haven't done yet.
Well, you know, I bought a colouring book. I bought a stained, I mean, only 4 years after the rest of the world bought colouring books, but I was like, fine, I'm ready to jump on this trend now. Oh my God, hate it.
Oh, I hate it. My God, I hate it.
I bought this, it's called a stained glass colouring book. I'll try and find it and leave a link, right? And it's just everything I do looks
I hate it. I'll try and find a link for everyone.
No, but I just want
you
people
can take
to
a picture.
see.
You can take a picture of the beautiful colouring you've done.
Oh my God, I can take a picture of the lion that I coloured in pinks and purples, and it looks wretched. I thought it was going to look like really cool and modern. Like the one really gratifying thing, and I would recommend this to everyone. I only ever do my colouring with Brandon's kids, and inevitably they will each at different times turn around to me and go, oh, you're doing a really good job.
Oh,
that's so cute. And that makes me
nice.
feel good. So like, I don't find it very mindful or restful. I find it incredibly irritating, but then I do get moments of
But you love the compliments.
I like the ego boost from the children. I did start knitting.
Oh yeah, you've been knitting for ages.
Well, no,
And
I started
Brandon
knitting.
is a mean crocheter, except he was.
No.
Except should I say a mean crocheter? I don't mean. He was a mean crocheter. Now he's just mean because
just
he won't
mean.
crochet anything for me.
Well,
And
you keep sending him incredibly
I
complicated
sent him that
things.
amazing looking. Was it a rug? I can't even
It was
remember
a
now.
rug.
It was an
a rug,
amazing.
It was the elephant,
rug.
wasn't it?
No, I thought it was a lion with like a 3-dimensional head on it.
Oh, yeah.
And it was phenomenal. I must ask Roseanne. She's a much more generous crocheter than Brandy.
Oh, you should. Brandon took up crochet, I think it was probably before he took up the gym.
Oh.
And now the time that he would have spent crocheting, he spends at the gym or else talking about the gym. So he hasn't...
Or wearing t-shirts or purchasing clothing that speaks to
gym-related
his,
clothing, yes. He has not picked up a crochet hook in months.
Well, you know what? The winter's coming.
I know. I've already told him that I want him to crochet some things for me.
Well, right now you have him laying floors, so he can't do everything.
I need to lay on the floors as well.
Yeah, I know, but do you have him occupied laying floors with you?
True.
So-
Although he did say to me yesterday, he was like, yeah, I've asked this person to come over and this person. And I was like, I can help. And then I suddenly remembered the last time that we did DIY together was when we were concreting around your pool, and I got a like huge blister on my hand.
Oh yeah,
within
he
about
was
2
a
seconds.
very good DIY. He was a very,
very
good
good.
DIYer. Like Don is
Yeah.
woeful, and I realize Don is like Dad. No. Sorry, you're making very like because Don's obviously going to listen to this, which I often forget when I make throwaway comments about Don. But no, Don and I are obviously polar opposites in terms of how we approach projects. I get the whole thing. I open the boxes, I lay out all the pieces, I get the instructions, I get all the equipment we need, and then I say to whoever's with me, hey, do you want to pour the wine or make the tea, whatever, right? Because usually it's like you or Julie in my past. Like Julie and I were an amazing IKEA duo because she just wanted to pour the wine and chat, and I just wanted to put the furniture together, and it was fantastic, right?
And also drink
Meanwhile-
the wine.
Oh, and drink the wine, yeah, absolutely. And she would ration the wine, but generously. She wasn't judgmental. Whereas Don says things like, you sure you want more wine before you line up that door? And I'm like, yes, I need more wine to lubricate my brain.
Oh my God, maybe this is why the doors of my cabinet aren't aligned.
As the baby would say. And, excuse me, I drank nothing. Maybe that was the problem. Maybe you
that
didn't
was the
lubricate
problem.
my brain. I actually have drinking wine written down here as a hobby. Like I actually wrote it down because I was like, it is a hobby. I think that is a pure, I've been beating myself up during COVID for the amount of wine that I have imbibed. And then I was like, do you know what? It's COVID. If the worst that comes out of this is me drinking lots of wine, like that's okay. So Don, anyway, so this is what happens. So I go, okay, Don, are we going to do this together? And he goes, yeah. And then we look at each other. We have a hug. I feel full of love, right? And I start laying stuff out. And then I hear a clatter bang.
No,
What?
I'll actually tell you what happens. You turn around and put on the kettle.
Yes.
And then you've turned back around and he's torn open the box. The
Yep.
instructions are nowhere to be found.
Yes.
And he's like shoving
He's
things together.
Yes, he's shoving things together, not necessarily the pieces that actually go together. And then I go over and I go, hold on. And he's like, what? I'm nearly finished. I've got this. And then we have a massive row. We scream at each other, or I scream and he ignores me and continues to shove pieces of things together. And then at the end, it's okay, but it's not as good as it could have been. Plus, I've been crying. So,
You know what I
not the
discovered?
love opportunity I thought of.
What I discovered the other day is that Brandon and I have a communication issue when it comes to any kind of DIY, because when I say things like, should we pull this up before we do this? He'll go, yeah, okay, fine. And I'm like, no, I'm asking, should we? Like, there's a really weird
You
thing
know,
that happens.
But I wonder if maybe that's actually an Irish American thing, because I say that in the office. Hey, should we shorten this strap? We can. And I go, no, but should we? Like, does should actually not mean should in America? Does it actually mean we should? That's actually because I
interesting.
talk about that all the time in the office. I'm like, I know we can, but should we?
Yeah, because I say to Brandon sometimes, like, maybe we should go and get a Starbucks. And he's like, that's fine. And I'm like, no, I just mean, what do you think? Like, what do you think about that? I'm giving you a suggestion. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You're actually asking a question, but
yeah.
maybe you don't sound like you're asking a question.
It's because I don't do my
Maybe you need, maybe that is it, genuinely.
Maybe that is it.
Maybe because we have very emphatic pronunciation. You know, maybe we don't say, should we do this? But even that, does
Should
that even
we
sound like a question? Or maybe it needs to be, what do you think of? I'm trying to think now, how do Americans talk? What do you think of doing this? Or what would you recommend? Maybe you need to say, Brandon, would you recommend a coffee?
I think even when I say
You're welcome, everybody, for that amazing American accent. I've been practicing for 13 years.
even when I say, do you think we should turn this around? He'll
TMI,
go,
Rosemary. TMI.
I don't know how. Like, I mention orgasms once.
Rosemary.
And you're perfectly happy with the Claire McCabe style innuendo, but any direct references to sex, you've got all, look at you, you've got all excited now, you're all like, you've got all pink. We are grown women. We can refer to things.
We
like,
can enjoy innuendo.
You're just loving these little like jokes. You're like, oh,
It's because they're
so
funny, Rosemary. But once you like bring it out into the open, it's not funny anymore. It's just like
it's
a
the Catholic
seriously
guilt
it's
coming
not-
out.
I don't feel guilty.
Once you bring it out in the open, it's not funny anymore. It's just embarrassing. What the hell?
It's
You should have seen your eyes turned into little saucers when I said the word orgasm there. You looked so
will you
shocked.
actually stop? It's just that's not funny anymore. Then it becomes like really overt and kind of just creepy. I don't want to hear about you and your sex life. No offense.
Oh Jesus, you do. You just don't want to hear about it on air.
Yeah, I don't really actually. I almost preferred hearing about your sex life when your boyfriends, when you were in Ireland and I didn't know them on a daily basis. And now I know Brandon like inside and out. I don't.
Oh, I'd also like to point out, I don't really talk about my sex life that much.
All the time, lads.
Oh my God. Would you get an actual... I can't even say what
I know you can't, because I was going to make some joke about that too.
I know you were. But if I started talking about hand jobs, you'd be like, it's all Rosemary. Look at you.
It's too much, Rosemary.
She's got all hot. She's fanning herself. It's ridiculous. It's like a spoof.
It's so gross.
Mind the microphone.
I hate the term hand job. I hate it. It sounds so effortful. There's nothing like...
That's because it is effortful, Beatrice.
God. Well, let's go back to Doll's House.
It's not called hand hobby for a reason.
Rosemary. Oh, God. So... I don't know where to go from here. What else do I have written down here? I used to love walking. Oh, Rosemary, you're going to have to take this over.
Actually,
moving on.
No, it's actually like you've come from the early 19th century.
You. Maybe this is why I never made it as an actress, because I was actor. Because I was actually in all these amateur theatrics. I was in Dublin Youth Theatre. That's a shout out for Roseanne and Dublin Youth Theatre, DYT. Every Saturday I used to go in. I was apparently, according to Roseanne, in multiple plays that I have zero recollection of. We're all going to be surprised to hear. I know. And maybe that's why I couldn't do it, because I remember I was in Pathigony. No, that's not what it was called.
Antigone?
No. I don't know what it was called. I'll find out later. And I was like apparently having an incestuous relationship with my father, and I had to, not my actual father, but my father in the play. I know.
I think we all got it. Like, I was in this youth theatre and I was in a play and I was having an incestuous relationship with my father. Not my actual father.
Maybe that was like my segue. Maybe that was my segue. Maybe that was my aside. I was having an incestuous relationship with my father, so it was really hard to get the show on time. No, sorry, Dad.
Not funny.
Sorry, Dad. No, I was having an incestuous relationship with my co-actor.
Your onstage
with
father.
My onstage father. Thanks, Rosemary. I just remember being absolutely mortified every time we had to have a kiss on the lips. I was probably like 20 when I think about it now. No, I was probably about 18. Anyway, like 8 years too old to be this mortified, right?
It's probably your first kiss, was it?
Potentially. I think my first kiss was Spin the Bottle. It's probably my second kiss. I know, yeah. Actually getting a lisp again now.
Yeah,
I'm getting this imaginary lisp that you say I have, and you're now inflicting on me.
Your mouth has got all tight as you've got more and more embarrassed. Like, I'm getting really embarrassed now. I can't even open my mouth to get my words out.
Anyway, all this to say that I probably could have been a famous Hollywood actor or movie star, except that I couldn't cope with the nudity. Rosemary, back to that prudishness.
The nudity. There was no nudity in DYT. You couldn't cope with kissing your dad on the lips, basically. Like, let's not over dramatize.
A man on the lips.
And oh, Jesus. Also, every single episode of this podcast is like, I could have been a model. I could have been an actor. I could have been a famous architect, except for I ended up being a very successful fashion designer instead. That's mad, isn't it?
I can't believe that's what you take away from it. You're very jealous.
You clearly couldn't have been a sex line operator anyway.
I could not have been. Actually, a friend of mine was, I think, on one of those webcam things, and I remember being absolutely, like, not... Now you're going to be surprised. I mean, not horrified at all, not judgmental, genuinely, but just more like amazed that she could do that. Like,
sorry,
sexy things on a webcam, Rosemary. Sexy
things. I was not even thinking for a second that you'd be like horrified or even judgmental. I was literally thinking, I can't imagine how she started telling you about this and you didn't fall into the floor with embarrassment.
Well, no, Rosemary, she told me in private. I don't fall into the floor in embarrassment. It's more the idea that...
are in private.
It's more the idea, Rosemary, that mother and father have their little ears pressed up to the other end of this microphone and are going to hear it at some point. I don't want to let them down, you know? And a mom keeps texting, tell Rosemary to stop cursing. I feel a responsibility.
Well, you know what? I had decided this episode that I wasn't going to curse, and then you absolutely drove me into a rage within about 60 seconds and I had to say the F word. So it's all your fault.
Did you say it? I didn't even hear you say it yet. Did you say it? I'm serious.
Yes, I'm not saying it again.
Oh, I didn't. I genuinely didn't hear you say it. I was actually thinking Mom would be so proud of you for a change. No, she is proud of you. You're her twin. You're her twinny. Anyway, back to
Back
the other
to you
thing.
and all of your hobbies
No,
and the
no.
careers that you could have had if you
No,
weren't too embarrassed by the
excuse
kissing.
me. Excuse me. I was about to. I was about to go back to your organizational bent and talk about that. All of the organizing you did.
I was going to go back to your orgasm. I'm so
Oh
shocked.
my God, no. I'm moving on. Well on. You weren't even having an orgasm. You were bending over to do something. I can't even. Let's just go back. Let's
This
just.
all started because I
DIY.
initially said to
DIY.
Brandon,
Oh, yeah.
I was saying, should we turn this around? And you went, oh.
Okay, so anyway, your point was, should we turn this around? What was it? I hope it was a mirror
No.
or something.
My point was that when I say that to him, he hears, it was just like about questions. It was about that Americans don't hear questions, they hear statements and they go, not hashtag not all Americans.
I don't think they hear statements. I think that we as Irish people speak in more emphatic statement like manner.
Oh, yeah, I get you.
That was more what
That
I was
sounds
saying.
more
It's-
like an order.
it's
Also
more-
coming
yes.
from me, going back to my organization,
Oh,
could sound more like
exactly.
an
It's
order.
more the cultural. It's more the cultural miscommunication. Is what I was trying to say. It's not
I get you.
about. It's not that that's your intent or that it's anything else. It's literally just a cultural thing. You know. There are lots of things that we say that are different. I mean, actually, there are so many words we have that are different.
Yeah.
Even that are hard.
my God,
for
I keep
people to-
getting-
like the bin, the trash.
Yeah, I keep getting given out to by Brandon's kids for calling the dog an idiot. When like the dog the other day went to catch a ball, fell over on top of himself, and I went, "Oh my God, you idiot!" And they were like, "Don't call him an idiot." And I was like, "Is that really like that would feel really casual from like to me to call someone an idiot?" And
I
like
think it depends. Though. I mean,
affectionate,
if
you know
you're
what
like in the office calling somebody that you don't know very well, yeah, okay, you idiot, or oh, you're such an idiot. Like there are two different
yeah, but like
meanings there, right?
But like I have said to Brandon, you know, I can't remember what he was doing. He was
You know,
like, "Oh my
Rosemary,
God,
maybe you've called him an idiot, and maybe he's taken it really badly, and you just don't know.
he hasn't."
You don't know. You're assuming. You're making assumptions, Rosemary. You know what they say about assumptions? They make an ass out of you, basically. So let's go back to you organizing, aged 10.
Oh my God,
when you
younger.
invited the
I was
local
about
guard
7.
over.
No, I didn't. You're making it sound really weird now. I basically used to love setting up clubs. I think it was because I read the Babysitter's Club and I was like, I want to set up a club.
God, you loved all those books.
I
You
loved those books so
Sweet,
much.
Sweet Valley High. There's probably
I loved
before
Sweet Valley
that, was
High
it?
and I loved.
But just to give an idea of your mentality, like
the Twins of St. Clair's.
Oh my
and
God,
I
you
loved Mallory
loved
Towers.
that. I loved
Yes.
Mallory Towers.
Oh yeah, obsessed.
Enid. I didn't call her Enid though. I called her Ina. I think Ina Blyton.
Oh yeah.
Ina, right? But I think her name's
Oh
actually
yeah,
Enid.
yeah. Sorry, I thought you were
Enid
talking
Blyton.
about the author or the main character in Mallory Towers.
I have no idea what their names were.
Oh no, she had a Daryl.
Don't remember that.
Daryl, Mallory Towers.
Don't know. It was just great though, and their uniforms were top notch. Nothing like
Oh,
I
they
was
were on their
forced to
great
wear
midnight
later.
feasts.
The midnight
Ginger beer.
feasts, and they were always
Ginger
being
beer.
sent all this food.
Yeah.
And like even today, you got sent Terry's chocolate orange, and it was not the same when you opened it.
It wasn't.
Their food was always top notch when they
Yeah,
opened
I know.
it.
Well, it's because it only came from like across the road, probably.
Yeah, you're actually probably right.
But yeah, I was very into organising and I always wanted to set up clubs, but like obviously I wanted to be the chairperson and I wanted to basically write the theme tune, sing the theme tune,
What a surprise!
record the theme tune.
And you wanted everybody else to fall in line.
to fall in line. And at one stage I set up a club for like, I can't remember what it was for something like long.
Something about the egg and spoon race in here too.
No, there wasn't. This was one where I wanted to set up a sale to raise funds for some animal charity and I was like,
Oh, that was nice.
yeah, and I was like, we'll have to ask Claire's dad for permission because he was a guard. I was like, we'll
What
get him to
was
grant
the
us
part
permission.
about the egg and spoon race though? There was something
There
in
was
your
nothing
letter
about
about,
an egg
oh
and spoon
yes, we
race.
will do an egg and spoon race to raise the money. That's how you were going to raise the money.
That's very Ina Blyton of me as well. And I'm sure I'd never even seen an egg and spoon race.
Have you ever actually participated in an egg and spoon
I
race?
don't think so. Have you?
I don't know, but I'm thinking since we're going to be like running out of things for Halloween, we might do an egg and spoon race.
With the kids?
Yeah, wouldn't that be a good idea?
God, they'd all be crying. There'd be
Do you know
egg
what I
everywhere.
was thinking as well? Do you remember? No, you hard boil the egg, Rosemary.
Do you really? I thought the whole point was that the egg might crack.
Oh, you're actually amazing. Well, the other thing that I was thinking about was, do you remember when we were growing up and we used to go over to our cousins, the Smith's house for Halloween, and they would do that flour game with the grape on top, and you would slice the edge of the flour. Like they would pour flour into a big coniferous pyramid or cone, actually.
Right.
And a coniferous pyramid, shut up. And then you'd put a grape on top, and then you'd have a knife and you'd slice bits off the flour, you know, and And whoever then toppled the grape had their face shoved in the flour. Do you remember this?
No.
And I used to live in like the terror as the night. Like it was basically like Jenga, except your face was going to get shoved in the flour.
No.
Do you need to bring him outside for a wee?
No, he just saw a chipmunk.
Oh.
Sorry, I also was never at Smith's. I mean, sometimes I was brought over, but because I was 6 years younger than everyone else, I was never involved.
This was in the kitchen.
You could do not
and
remember
we bought
this
for apples
at
and everything.
all.
You could 100% could have done that. While we went out and trick or treated, anybody could have shoved your face in the flour. Would have been perfect. Anyway, I was thinking that this Halloween, those are the things I might do here because they're kind of
you
fun.
hard boiled the eggs. My whole I've always had this vision of the eggs just going splat.
Well, I thought the whole point was just the egg falls off the spoon. Like,
I mean,
can
I
you
think it
carry
probably
the egg?
is.
Yeah, I think it is. You could also do it with like Cadbury's eggs, and then at least the kids would be happy at the end of it all.
You should do it with the kids, and you should glue your egg to your spoon.
Oh my God, that's actually genius. Yeah, I could use one of those spoons that fell down the garbage disposal.
Oh, yeah.
It's already
It's already
absolutely wrecked.
And then they'd have an absolute shit fit.
Oh my, that's
Those
brilliant.
kids do not deal well with
Brilliant.
losing.
No, they're absolutely terrible sports.
Excellent lessons to be learned
Brilliant.
there. Do you consider, do you have any hobbies now? Because I always think it's interesting because your hobbies when you were growing up were very much arts and crafts related. And now that's your job. So do you feel like that takes away from your likelihood to do it in your spare time, if you know what I mean?
Well, I started painting again there.
About
2 years
3
ago,
years
maybe.
ago? Yeah.
But it's just not enjoyable because the minute I paint, everybody wants to paint. Then it's all me looking after them painting, and otherwise, and also it's just really hard to not have them not touch the painting stuff. But I mean, it's been okay. I mean, I bought some watercolors the other day because I was like, I bought this really nice book actually that is more about just the therapy of color. Like it's got a whole self-guided book. It's about like make dots of colors, make squares. And I was like, maybe this is something I could do with the kids.
Oh yeah, that's
where they
cute.
could do their own version. And I bought Bo some watercolors because he loves painting too.
But they also, you know what I'm learning more and more? Like, kids don't want to do anything guided really. They just want to get the watercolors and do their own. You know what I mean? Just
yeah,
like
well,
splash
it's
or do
more like they
whatever.
don't want to do anything that lasts longer than 3 seconds.
Yeah, I know.
Right? They want
only
everything
wants to
out
paint
on the
Yoshis,
table.
I'd say.
Oh yeah, he loves painting the Yoshis. They want everything out on the table, and then they want it all immediately tidied up for them. What else do I do? Well, I'm going to do this needle punch. I still read a lot.
Oh yeah,
Right?
yeah. I kind of forget that reading is a hobby in a way.
Yeah, reading's a hobby. I read a lot still.
What are you reading at the moment? Just out of interest.
I'm reading.
Can't remember, can you?
I can. I'm still reading this body language book, which I haven't finished. I'm reading Richard Russo. Can't remember the name of the book, but it's amazing. He's an amazing writer.
The Destiny Thief?
Oh yeah, that's exactly right. How'd you know that?
Because it's the one that I borrowed from you, left in Ireland, and then
not that
resent
one.
you.
It's a different one. Because I never got that back in time from you. I'm reading a different book by him, but he's an amazing writer. I love him.
You'll be glad to know I'm now reading Jeeves and Wooster. I'm on page about 5.
And shh, don't say a word till you finish it. If you're not going to love it, I don't even want to hear about it.
Okay. I just finished book 3 of the Wizard PI series.
Oh, is it good? Are you going to bring it over to me or what?
Oh yeah, I can. They're all Brandon's. They're who are they by? Jim Butcher, the Dresden Files.
Oh, and I'm also reading a book called Calling Bullshit, which is actually really interesting about how kind of bullshit and fake news started and how, these habits that people have now of using like incredibly verbose language and long words. I mean, the other day I heard somebody say, what I'd like to articulate here is, and I was like, what you're really trying to say is what I'd like to say.
Well,
right?
you not 10 minutes ago said something like coniferous pyramid.
Oh yeah, but I was trying to describe the shape of it, and then I realised that they're not the same thing. Yeah, no, it wasn't a pyramid; it's a cone.
Oh, a cone.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
God bless you. Good example. Well, anyway, what are your hobbies, Rosemary?
I often
trying to find fault with me.
That doesn't take up that much time, to be honest.
Knitting. You're still knitting.
I haven't knit since I moved out of here. No.
Oh, sewing. I pulled out the sewing machine and sewed some cushions there recently. It's not really a hobby. That's more like something I just needed to get done.
Yeah. Sorry, back to me. Reading.
Singing.
I don't really sing.
Scrolling Instagram and thinking about yourself, making videos.
Thinking about yourself. I watch a lot of YouTubers.
Obsessing over your new dog.
Obsessing over my dog, rubbing my dog. looking at my dog's little paw pads and saying things like, "Why do your paw pads smell like nachos?"
Oh,
And expecting him to answer.
gross. I
They
just
do, they
don't.
smell like-
I
they smell like
don't
tortilla
know why
chips.
you would be smelling your dog's paw pads.
Oh,
I'm not into
so
that. No,
cute.
No. Sorry.
Doggy paw pads. Oh, they're so good. Yeah, like
Watching TV. I watch a lot
Watching
of TV.
TV.
Right. Ever since
Yeah.
I had a baby 8 years ago, I've watched a lot of TV.
9.
Recently watched, 9 years ago, recently watched The Order on Netflix and was actually amazed by the fact, and then it made me think about it as well, that loads of, it's all about these kids in school, a la Mallory Towers, who are part of an order of like magic, right?
Oh,
And
right.
the struggle of good and bad, etc. And as they're casting spells, I was like, that sounds very Irish, right? And then I put on my favourite subtitles because everybody was making too much noise, so I could, and it was like, Kershia sé sin níl sé ceangalta. And I was like, oh my God, or Taring na ceangal uin. I was like, it's Irish, evil magic.
You know, there's a bit. You know, there's a bit in Buffy where they show like some script inside a book, and it's actually an Irish language
Book of
announcement
Kells.
about Bus Éireann.
What?
Yeah,
Bus Éireann.
it's something to do with like they just took it from a leaflet. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
something to do with like Bus Éireann or
Well,
Dublin
it made
Bus
me
or something.
realise that like what a great language Irish is, but obviously also how evil it must sound. But I actually think it's interesting here as well because when people go, give us a bit of Gaelic, right? And you say like, oh, Diagwich, what? What does that mean? Like it means hello. But it doesn't sound like English at all. You're like, no, they're actually totally different languages. What do you mean? It's like, I think there's this weird expectation that it's going to be like
a kind of pidgin English or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's kind of it. So I always appreciate when it's used as something extremely exotic on a TV show.
I think sometimes people think that Irish is when you hear a really thick Irish accent speaking English in a movie. You know what I mean? Like, or like somebody from Donegal or somebody from Belfast, they're like, oh, they must be speaking Irish because I can kind of understand, but not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so then that's what they're expecting.
Oh, that reminds me. I also took up Arabic when I was living in Paris.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember why I did. Why did I stop?
I think
going
because it was
to
really
that?
hard. Because it was like really, really difficult.
Excuse me, Rosemary. I have never met a mountain I was unwilling to climb.
Oh my God.
To climb. To climb.
You have
Metaphorically.
you wouldn't even walk up that sand dune.
Metaphorically,
Oh.
not a physical mountain. Many mountains I wouldn't want to go up. I think I gave it up because I thought it was like, what was it? I couldn't go every week, and they were extremely difficult when you had to miss a week. Like, because I couldn't get off work every week.
I think it was also that you were really interested in learning to speak it, but it was an awful lot of the writing, and you had to learn the script and everything. Wasn't it? So it was really
that was it.
complicated.
I can't remember now, but anyway, yeah, I did about 3 lessons and then gave up. But it was,
It was more than
was
3.
it not that I did a couple? Did I not get mugged or something on the street on my way home and then got afraid? Did somebody not steal my
I
handbag?
feel like you would remember that.
I mean, here you'd think, but anyway, I did Arabic for a little bit, and I learned a word that I can no longer remember.
I was in a choir in college that I loved.
Yeah, you were in all the
and then I joined
gospel choirs.
Well, then I joined the Gardner Street Gospel Choir, and I was a member of that for maybe 6 months, and I really liked that. But I also just found, I don't know, like I found it hard to. I felt like I joined it and everyone in there, which is not true, but it felt like everyone in there had been there for ages and they all knew each other and they were all friends, and I found it hard to kind of break into that, and I probably like
Infiltrate the clique. That's hard.
but I mean, I probably didn't try either. So like after each Sunday mass that we would sing at, they would stay behind for tea and biscuits and stuff, and I always just like the first couple of times I stayed for like 10 or 15 minutes, and then I was like, nobody's really talking to me, I feel really awkward, and then I never went anymore. So like I really needed to think like push myself to try and get out of my comfort zone. I just wasn't either able or willing.
But didn't you also have weird problems with your throat and your vocal cords?
That was so like in college, towards the end of being in choir, I started getting basically, I think similar to mom, like mom loses her voice a lot. We both speak at quite a low timbre or low level or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And when I was getting voice lessons in Galway, I remember my singing teacher was like, you need to try and talk more in your head voice. So ideally, I try and talk a little bit more up here. like in a slightly higher register, so I'm not really, in my throat, but it just doesn't feel natural at all. So basically, if I'm talking too much and I'm singing too much,
Yeah.
I start to lose my voice at a certain register. So I can still sing maybe low, or I can still sing high, but I can't sing in the middle or something.
Oh.
So that's kind of what happened to me for a while.
Yeah.
That I only had, and like it wasn't even like I had an alto voice. I could only sing certain notes and then I couldn't sing other ones. And then the same in like soprano, I could sing certain parts. So I just couldn't sing fully, if you know what I mean.
Oh, it's
It's
so
very
annoying.
frustrating.
I also did singing lessons in Milan. You reminded me there.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and Mom came over to my teacher and we had tea one afternoon. It was lovely. And then I
when
did...
Mum was learning Italian.
Yeah, and then I did jazz singing in Brooklyn for a while as well.
Did you?
I did, yeah. But it was too far away on the subway.
And didn't you do flower arranging in Brooklyn?
No, we only did a course. Julie and I did a 1-day course. It was great fun though.
I did a 1-day course with my friend Ellen as well. And I think I did one with Claire too.
Very nice.
Flower
I used to be
arranging. It was really
obsessed with
nice.
calligraphy. You mentioned that the other day. That was something I was going to thinking of giving you. That's very nice.
Calligraphy. I did a 1-day calligraphy course with Claire and I really liked it, but I wasn't very good. And you know what I've realised as I've got older? I used to think that I was really not competitive, right? So I was like, I'm just not a competitive person. I am, but I just never like to compete in anything that I don't think I can win.
Oh, I know. Scrabble.
So, oh my God. So like I get really frustrated. So calligraphy,
Bananagrams.
but like I think that's why I don't really like taking up hobbies, because I'm just like, if I don't feel like I can be really good at them, I don't want to do them. Do
Are
know
you
what I mean? Which is
9?
stupid. I know.
Oh my God.
Listen, you're a shit therapist. My therapist would never say that to me. Are you 9? She'd be like, that's interesting. Oh yeah.
Oh.
Like
Well, that's interesting, Rosemary.
I
Since you
wonder-
seem to have the psychology of a 9-year-old, how would you recommend
my therapist would never have
how
said
would
that.
you- how
my
would you
therapist would say
recommend-
something more sensitive like, can you think of a time in your childhood when that would have really resonated? Because often we find that these beliefs are solidified in childhood. So
Okay.
that's the way she would make me think.
Okay, Rosemary. Well, it sounds to Rosemary. It sounds to me like this is a very similar thought process that's going through my 9-year-old's head currently. He doesn't like to take up any hobby that he can't immediately be amazing at. What would you recommend I do with him? Since you seem to be the exact same at 41.
I'm fucking 35. That curse was entirely involuntary. You bring it out of me.
So, I think we've definitely talked. So, Rosemary, what would you recommend to people? All jokes aside, Rosemary, what do you think? In terms of hobbies, what hobby are you most happy that you
God.
took up?
The knitting was nice, and it's especially nice in the winter. I bought this kit from because I'm totally like I've no like original ideas. I need a kit to follow, so I bought this kit from I think it was weareknitters.com for this udon blanket. It's this really big chunky blanket. It has 2 very simple stitches. It's very satisfying, and then once you get past about the 5th row, it's really cozy on your lap.
that's nice.
You know what I mean? So like you're really warm as you're doing it.
Well, there's also something nice about knitting where Mom has made a blanket for every single one of the kids
Oh,
when they were
yeah.
babies. Now, one of
Yeah,
them has
yeah.
massive holes in it, but I still think that'll be really nice for them when they're older to have their own blankets. And she made
Which one's getting the one with the holes?
It was Nash's, so he's getting that.
Oh.
But I mean, it's fine. It's an heirloom. It's and then she made a jumper for Bo there recently, and she
And
gave
one
it to
for
him.
Chance.
It has an extremely tight neck that he complains about. But the other day, because we haven't seen them in 10 months, he went. I told him to go to his bedroom and get dressed, and he came down wearing this. Well, trying to pull the sweater over his head.
Do you think it has a very tight neck, or he just has a very large head?
Both. I think there was a lack of stretchiness at that neck hole for sure. But yes, his head is massive. And he came down, he went, I just wanted to wear this sweater because I miss Granny so much. And that was adorable. That was so cute.
adorable.
They were genuinely so cute.
Oh, I actually thought that was a lie you made up to make
No,
Mum feel nice.
that was
That's
true.
cute.
He literally came down and said, I know. And I also think like he's a master manipulator. He's no
Oh, true.
fool. Oh my
True.
God. So, I mean, I wonder if he just was like, I want to watch TV, so I'll tell Mom what she wants to hear.
I knitted, did I knit a blanket for someone? I can't remember. I think
you did. Didn't you knit one for us? Like for somebody here.
no, because I
Oh.
only took up knitting last year. I knitted
For
a
Kira?
blanket. No, I knitted a blanket for my friend Sharon when she had a baby, but Mum had
Sorry,
to crochet
Kira.
the edge for me.
Oh.
Mum had to do the edge because I don't
Aw.
know how to do that. And then I knitted a blanket for myself, and I am currently knitting a blanket for you,
Aw.
but I'm on row about 5, so that's going to be a while.
Oh, but it's nice.
I was
it's
hoping
nice.
you'd have it for this winter, but you won't.
It's nice, these emotions, these
You know
like
what
emotional
though?
gifts.
Sorry, I wouldn't recommend. I did knit 2 tiny scarves for children.
Oh my God, it's
Children,
so cute. That
it's
one that
cute.
you made is so cute.
It's cute. Children do not like wearing scarves, like toddlers.
Bo loves them. He's 6. He's the exception to the rule. He loves them.
Yeah, but like this scarf that I knit was for Fox. It's tiny. It's too short
Oh
for
my God,
Bo's
it's
big,
so
big
cute
neck.
on Fox.
I know, it's so cute.
So cute. It was worth making just to put on him.
I knitted
Adorable.
one for Kira's baby, Joseph, but he's no interested in it either.
Oh.
Bastard. So knitting is nice. Colouring, I wouldn't really recommend.
No, I wouldn't recommend that either. Sewing, I don't recommend either. It's kind of annoying and takes a long time. And then I got to cut things out. And when I sew them wrong, then I get enraged.
It's really, really frustrating.
I've got high hopes for needle punching for both of us.
I did hip hop dancing for a while.
You were very good too.
Well, I really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah, you loved it.
I used to do cardio hip hop in Dublin with Jane Shortall. It was kind of a mix between like exercise and dance. Do you know, like it wasn't, nobody was going to be in Rihanna's next video.
Didn't you bring
Do know what I mean?
like the entire family along to that basically? You brought Roseanne, then you brought Vinny, right? Didn't you bring loads of people?
Yeah, Roseanne went, Claire, Kira, loads of my friends. Emma Reynolds came with me once and hated it.
Oh, well.
Vinny. And yeah, I really, really liked it, but I went back to Jane Shortall's classes actually probably about 2 or 3 years ago. And like that, like I did kind of I signed up for a 6-week course or something. I think I did maybe 3 weeks. And then I just got too self-conscious and I was like, I'm not getting any better.
Oh, I did Zumba once.
Oh my God, was it awful?
Oh, well, I'm just absolutely woeful. Everybody else was jumping up and down and doing, I was entirely confused, jumping in the wrong direction. Like, I'm not the most coordinated individual, I would say.
I would actually like to do some kind of like rhythm-based movement because I do think it's really fun. But you know what the problem is actually that's it. When I used to go to Jane Shortall, it was in this big community centre on Angel Street and there were no mirrors. And when I went back the last time, it was in this dance studio with mirrors and I hated the mirrors. I was like, I don't want to see myself looking wogus. I want to imagine that I look like Jessica Alba in Honey, which I can only do if there are no mirrors.
You love that movie. I'm bobbing.
I love that movie so
bobbing like
much.
bobblehead. Is that right? What did she say?
Oh, something like that. Yeah,
that's exactly right.
I think it's about time for a rewatch.
Oh my God, I watched it recently.
Where was I?
Oh, in Ireland maybe.
Oh my God, you bitch.
I watched it to check my quotes were still accurate. But actually, no, I more watched it to go like, was Jess? I read a thing that said Jessica Alba was
a
not a
terrible
good dancer.
Yes.
And then I was like, I object to that. I think she was an amazing dancer. And I watched that like intro where she brings all the kids and they all start like boogieing on the mezzanine.
I know.
And I was like, she is amazing.
I also thought
Take
she was
that
an
back.
amazing dancer, but I do wonder if we have a very low bar.
How dare you? I do not have a low bar.
Well, you think I'm a good dancer. That's a very low bar.
I have a bar full of alcohol. It's actually I have a very empty bar today. I have nothing in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Thank you very much for listening to another episode of Not Without My Sister. We'd love to hear about people who have actual hobbies. You look really offended, but like you've literally just said sewing's not really a hobby. And I
said
started painting, but I don't really do because the kids always want
drinking
to join in.
wine, reading books, and hopefully punching needles or needle punching.
So basically you could be an 89-year-old woman. Drinking wine, reading, and the odd bit of needle punch.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about your hobbies, assuming they don't make us feel bad about ourselves.
Oh yeah, good point. Like we don't hear anything about anybody's triathlons.
Oh no, I mean that's okay. That's okay. You know what, Rosemary?
You always have to be the
everybody has
nice
to
one.
dream. Everybody has to dream. I mean, like I'll just be like, that's amazing. I could have done that.
If you'd had your jaw broken at the age of 10.
Yeah, if I was somebody else, I could do that. And please feel free to write us a review, recommend us to a friend, or listen to any of our back catalogue. Not that lengthy, but we have a couple of good topics in there like dad, mom, crying, neighbours.
All the times we begged men not to break up with us. Yeah, God.
Yeah. The time we were spirited away in a Milanese car.
The time one of us was spirited away.
The time I was spirited away, yes.
And then was so frightened for her life that she slept for 20 hours straight. You can email us notwithoutmysis@gmail.com. Follow us on Instagram @notwithoutmysister, and you will get a mini-sode every Friday and a new episode every Tuesday if you subscribe wherever you're listening to this. All the leaves are brown, and the sky is grey.
And the sky's grey.
I've been for a walk on a winter's day. I'd be safe and warm. If I was in LA. California dreaming. dreaming on such a winter's day. Stopped into a church I passed along the way. Well, I got down on my knees and I pretend to pray. You know the preacher likes the cold. He knows I'm gonna stay. California dreaming on such a winter's day. All the leaves are brown, and the sky is gray. I've been for a walk on a winter's day. If I didn't tell her, I could leave today. California dreaming on such a winter's day. Bye. Not Without My Sister is produced by Liam Garrity. Sound and original music are by the very talented, smart and good-looking Don Kirkland. Aww. And our original illustration is by, the also very talented, smart and good-looking Lindsay Nielsen.
That seems like objectification, but that's fine.
That's reverse sexism. Lol, there's no such thing as reverse sexism. Bye!
Not Without My Sister is a member of The Warren, the home of great Irish podcasts. As is my podcast, Meet Your Maker. You'll find more great shows at thewarren.ie.